Scotts Valley has always been an anomaly to me. It's like this cute little town in Santa Cruz County, but it's not quite in the Redwood Forest and it's not quite at the beach. But I get calls from clients and or potential clients on a very regular basis telling me that they want to find a home and live in Scotts Valley. So I decided to do a little bit of research to see what the draw is about Scotts Valley and why people love living there and why people want to move there. So let's dig in and find out about the pros and cons about living in Scotts Valley. And I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So if you don't mind and you find value in the videos that I produce, I would love it if you'd hit that like and subscribe button right here on our YouTube channel. That would mean the world to me. I'm Shamika Fox, your Santa Cruz real estate expert. And if you're looking to buy or sell locally here, or you're looking for a home or to sell your home anywhere in the United States and beyond, let me know or fill out the form below so that I can help you or connect you with the right person. Okay, one of the cons about living in Scotts Valley is the high cost of living. Now, I'm not talking compared to a beachfront property in Capitola or in Santa Cruz. I'm talking about the high cost of living as it compares to the cost of living index in the entire nation or in the United States. The cost of living index for Scotts Valley is 193, which indicates that it is a very high cost of living, or there is a very high cost of living for living in Scotts Valley, not just for housing, but for groceries, for gas, for utilities, for all of your living expenses. But yes, absolutely, there is a high cost of living for living in Scotts Valley for the cost of housing as well. Currently, and this video is filmed in February 2025, and what year are we in? Currently, the overall cost of living is 93% of the national average. So clearly that's like almost at 100% above what the national average is for the cost of living in the United States. The housing cost is 40.1% above the national average cost of living. So clearly, again, you can see that the cost of housing is significantly elevated above what you could get if you were living in the Midwest somewhere, or even if you were living in like Fresno or something. I know that you can get a home in Fresno that would be comparable in size for about a quarter of the price that you would pay if you were living in Scotts Valley. The current median sales price for single family homes in Scotts Valley is trending at approximately $1.4 million. That's $672 per square foot on average for a home that is for sale in Scotts Valley. For condos and townhomes, the current median sales price is $880,000. That's trending at about $629 per square foot, and that's for condos and townhomes. So clearly the cost of living is a con because of how much it is in comparison to the national average and in comparison to other areas that you could live outside of Scotts Valley. But I would say that a pro about living in Scotts Valley is there's actually a lot of job opportunity within the community, as well as an easy commute, or an easier commute than if you were living in Aptos, let's say, to get over the hill and to get one of those tech jobs that has been so prevalent in paying well and paying you in stocks and other bonuses. So in Scotts Valley, there's actually a lot of job opportunity, but also the location and proximity to Silicon Valley while living in Scotts Valley allows you to be able to potentially get a job that would allow you to afford a higher cost of living. So the first con is that there is a high cost of living, but the pro is that there's actually job opportunities in and around the area of Scotts Valley that would support that higher cost of living. The next bit of information we're going to talk about in Scotts Valley is education. And first we're going to cover the pros of education, and then we are going to dive into the cons of education. So I would say that the pros of education are that there are actually public schools in Scotts Valley that have really good reputations. Now, as a realtor, I'm not allowed to tell you explicitly that you must go to this school or this school is going to give you a phenomenal education. What I can tell you is that based on schools.com, the Scotts Valley Public Education, so that's Vine Hill Elementary School, Scotts Valley Middle School and Scotts Valley High School have very decent ratings. For Vine Hill Elementary and Scotts Valley Middle School, those schools both get a 7 out of 10 rating on schools.com, and Scotts Valley High actually gets a 9 out of 10 rating on schools.com. In addition to the public school options, which again, they do get good ratings, and according to schools.com, you can check out what their ratings are for yourself, but I've just gone over that. There's Baymont, which is a private school, and that goes from pre-K all the way through 8th grade. And based on what I hear in the community and from the people whose children actually attend Baymont, I do hear really positive things about Baymont Christian School, which is a private school. The cons, I would say, with regards to education is that it's limited. So I've just given you 3 examples of public schools, and that's your elementary school, your middle school, and your high school, and 1 example of a private school that goes from pre-K all the way to 8th grade. But besides that, since Bethany College closed, there is not really a resource in the Scotts Valley city limits or in the area of Scotts Valley that would provide you an opportunity for a higher education past high school. The next item of business that I want to talk about with regards to pros and cons about living in Scotts Valley are job opportunities. Now, I've spoken a little bit about the proximity to Silicon Valley, and though the cost of living in Scotts Valley is high compared to the national average, that there's actually a lot of job opportunities over the hill and beyond, but there's also actually a lot of job opportunities within the city of Scotts Valley. Employment growth has averaged about 2% annually since 2021. And the types of jobs that are available in the Scotts Valley area are management positions, business opportunities, entrepreneurialism, science, and art occupations, which those tend to be a higher caliber or a higher paying job. Scotts Valley is also the home to many major companies, which provides more job opportunity and contributes to the job growth right there in Scotts Valley. Some companies that you might be familiar with that come right out of Scotts Valley: Zero Motorcycles, a leading manufacturer of electric motorcycles; Canepa, which specializes in automotive restoration and sales; Bay Photo Lab, providing professional photo and printing services; Paystand, a financial technology company offering payment solutions; Ambient Photonics develops energy efficient photovoltaic technology. Say that 3 times fast. Universal Audio designs and manufactures audio hardware and software; and the beloved Fox Racing, which produces high-performance suspension products for various vehicles. In addition to those companies that are located right there in Scotts Valley is a very centralized city, granting easier commute access, again, both to Silicon Valley, the San Jose area, even San Francisco. I have friends that live in Scotts Valley and work in San Francisco, but also to Santa Cruz if you work up at the university or if you work in downtown Santa Cruz. Scotts Valley is a nice little hub to be able to access those in both directions. The cons with regards to job opportunity are that you are probably going to have to commute. If you're not working for one of those companies, or you don't own your own business, or you don't work for the city of Scotts Valley, the chances are you're going to have to commute. If you want a very well-paying job, most likely you are going to have to commute over the hill, over Highway 17 to get to Silicon Valley. Again, though, since Scotts Valley is a nice centralized hub, commuting over the hill wouldn't be as bad as it would if you had to come from Aptos or South County. So even though there are some job opportunities in Scotts Valley, many people that I know who live in Scotts Valley opt to commute over the hill and get one of those high-paying tech jobs, or in the biotech field or medical field, stuff like that. Okay, let's talk about crime in Scotts Valley. The pro regarding crime in Scotts Valley is that there is very minimal crime in Scotts Valley. It's actually a pretty safe community. It's known for its low crime rates, contributing to a sense of community and safety and well-being. So a lot of people like living in Scotts Valley because the crime rates are so low. In fact, the Scotts Valley rate of crime is 28.4% lower than the national average. The current crime rate in Scotts Valley is 18.5%, and the national average is trending at about 33.37%. Specific crime statistics look something like this. Violent crime risk is 1 out of 742, which is pretty low in my personal opinion. Plus, a little fun fact about Scotts Valley is Scotts Valley doesn't have an open container law, which means that, now obviously if you're being belligerently drunk and obnoxious, you can get in trouble, but you can actually legally drink in the city of Scotts Valley. So if you're having a picnic in one of the parks and your kids are running around and playing and you want to pop open a bottle of champagne to share with your friends, you are allowed to do that. Now, of course, you can't drink and drive. You cannot bike and drink. And if you're being obnoxious and you are acting drunk in public, you can get in trouble for that. But you are allowed to have open containers in Scotts Valley. The cons with regards to the crime and safety rate in Scotts Valley, based on popular opinion, is that some people believe that Scotts Valley is over-policed. So that just means that there's too many police watching you. I know that in some communities that have HOAs, I have clients that have been turned in for not following the HOA guidelines, and they feel like that's just a little bit over the top and they're not hurting anybody or harming anything, and they should be able to continue to enjoy their home the way in which they wish they could or would like to. But some people find that it is their business to turn them into the HOA. So they're over-policing the area, which in one way is a positive because it means that the crime rate remains low, but in another way it's kind of annoying because that means that somebody's always in your business and you might not want to be told what to do. I don't like to be told what to do. So I totally get it. The next subject that we're going to talk about is traffic. Now, Scotts Valley actually has pretty manageable traffic. There's never really been a time where I was driving through Scotts Valley and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to take me an hour, which sometimes just going on Mission from my house to get on Highway 1 or Highway 17 takes me like 40 minutes. And I don't live that far, maybe just like a mile and a half from the Highway 1 entrance. But in Scotts Valley, everything seems to flow nicely. I've never been there and had a tremendous amount of traffic, though I did hear when we had that most recent tornado in Scotts Valley, which was an anomaly, hopefully we'll see, but so far was an anomaly. There was a bit of traffic, but of course there was a lot to see. It was interesting, and there was like a lot of commotion and destruction and potential injuries and things of that nature. So generally speaking, when there isn't a wild tornado or wild weather, the traffic in Scotts Valley tends to flow nicely. Another thing about traffic, I've never been in Scotts Valley and not been able to find a parking place. They have a phenomenal movie theater, which I have always really enjoyed. It's clean, it's well kept. They have really fun snacks. You can buy an adult beverage and go in and watch a movie. They have the very plush, comfy chairs, and they have really great restaurants in Scotts Valley. We're going to get into this in a minute, but I've never been anywhere in Scotts Valley where I could not find a place to park. So traffic is minimal and parking is attainable, which I appreciate. So those are the pros with regards to traffic in Scotts Valley. The cons are, if you want to leave Scotts Valley and go pretty much any direction, you're going to have to deal with Highway 1 traffic, you're going to have to deal with Highway 17 traffic, and if you're going up to the San Lorenzo Valley, sometimes there's traffic on Highway 9. But those are your main hubs and your main ways out of Scotts Valley to get to other areas or other cities that are close by. But if you are driving in Scotts Valley, again, the pro would be that there's really minimal traffic, which is a welcome asset to me. I don't like sitting in traffic. Maybe you do. Now let's talk about weather. Now, one of the things that I wondered when everybody was like, I want to live in Scotts Valley, and I was like, wouldn't you want to live by the beach? Like, you're moving to Santa Cruz County for one of the main things that I love about Santa Cruz is the mild climate. But people are moving to Scotts Valley, and they actually like the weather. It does get hotter in the summer, and in fact, if you notice when you're shopping for a home, most places in Santa Cruz County don't have air conditioning. Now, of course, we are seeing a shift in our climate, and so we are starting to see new construction projects add air conditioning or make it a feature that is optionable. But in Scotts Valley, they do actually have more homes that either have or are installing air conditioning units because Scotts Valley tends to be a subclimate in Santa Cruz, and it does tend to get hotter in Scotts Valley than if you are in or near the beach. Let's talk about the geography of Scotts Valley. Now, geography of Scotts Valley is actually very pleasant. There are a ton of natural resources such as Henry Cowell State Park, where it's beautiful to go hiking, mountain biking, go submerge yourself in, I think, what they're calling a nature bath. Go hug a tree. There's also the beautiful Glenwood Open Space Preserve, which is a beautiful trail. You kind of like meander through meadows and single track paths, and that's a really beautiful area. All of Scotts Valley is encompassed by mountains, so there's trees on all the sides. Pretty much you have a gorgeous view because of the geographic location of Scotts Valley itself and being encompassed by mountains and trees on all sides. The con about the geography is because it is encapsulated by mountains on all sides, there are fewer urban amenities and less accessibility to some of the cities you might need to go to for those urban amenities. There's no hospital in Scotts Valley. Of course, there's doctor's offices and urgent care, but there's no hospital in Scotts Valley. Your nearest hospital would be Dominican Hospital. And there's not really a nightlife. There are great restaurants, there are things to do, but there's no real nightlife in Scotts Valley. So because of the geography, if you wanted to get outside of what's going on in Scotts Valley and explore more nightlife or more restaurants or more entertainment, or you needed a hospital, you would have to leave that geographic location of the little cute Scotts Valley to go and get what you actually want or need. The next thing I want to cover with regards to pros and cons of living in Scotts Valley is entertainment. Now, I just talked a little bit about there not being a lot of nightlife. There are restaurants, there are bars, there are music venues and things that you can actually do and experience some entertainment and fun. They have a great movie theater, like I mentioned before. That said, I would say that one of the pros about living in Scotts Valley, despite not having a ton of entertainment, there's actually a lot of community events and community involvement. So if you wanted to go somewhere really fabulous to trick or treat for Halloween, Sky Park always puts on a phenomenal trick or treating session. Your kids can run around in the streets. There's minimal cars. It's set up for that. There's always a great 4th of July parade and fireworks, as well as a really cool flyover with the airplanes. So that's a really cool, fun community event. There is the Scotts Valley Awards and Community Gala, or Gala, I never know how to say that word. There's the Scotts Valley Art and Wine Festival. There's the Beer Festival. There are craft fairs, and then there's the tree lighting for the holidays. So even though there's not a ton of what you would expect as far as urban entertainment goes, there's a ton of community activities and a ton of community involvement, and it's a really fun place to gather. Another thing I would say that's really cool about Scotts Valley is there's a lot of parks. So you can take your kids to the park, you can take your dogs to the park, you can go experience some fun outdoor adventures. So even though the actual like nightlife and entertainment might be lacking, there's still a ton of stuff that you can do in Scotts Valley. And the con, we're going to go back to nightlife again. There's limited nightlife. There is not a huge diversity with regards to dining and cocktails and art exhibits and museums. Stuff like that's really lacking. But again, you have access to get to the city. You have access to get to Santa Cruz. So even though there isn't a ton going on with regards to nightlife and entertainment in the city of Scotts Valley, you do have access to get outside of Scotts Valley to go explore and enjoy entertainment in other areas. The lifestyle in Scotts Valley. Let's talk about the lifestyle in Scotts Valley. The pro of the lifestyle in Scotts Valley is it is very community oriented. It is very family oriented. It is very safe. You can walk around, you can ride your bike, you can go to the different parks, you can go experience these community events and activities. People are friendly and welcoming. The con with regards to lifestyle is that there's really limited diversity. We've talked about a limited diversity with restaurants, and we've talked about a limited diversity with regards to medical facilities, and we've talked about a limitation of diversity with regards to schools and museums, entertainment, stuff like that. So it's a small town, so you're going to have limited diversity across the board in Scotts Valley. I like this part. Unique features about Scotts Valley. Of course, there's pros and cons, but the unique features about Scotts Valley, let's start with the cons. Limited public transportation. So if you don't have your own personal car or a chauffeur, or you don't use an Uber app, even Uber, I would say, or Lyft would be limited because they might not be available when you need them, but there's limited access to public transportation. What I will say though, there is a bus stop. So if you work for Apple or you work for Google, there is a bus stop in Scotts Valley at the bus station, and they have Apple shuttles and Google shuttles that will pick you up right there in Scotts Valley and take you over to your destination over the hill in Silicon Valley. So even though there's limited public transportation, there is still opportunities for transportation if you are working over the hill. I forgot to talk about that when we were talking about job opportunities. The pros with regards to unique features in Scotts Valley are its historical significance. Scotts Valley has a rich history with local landmarks and historical sites that reflect its heritage. Hiram D. Scott House, constructed in 1853 by Hiram Daniel Scott, the namesake of Scotts Valley, this Greek Revival style residence stands as a testament to the area's early development. Originally located on Scotts Valley Drive, the house was relocated behind City Hall to preserve its historical significance. It is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and serves as a Santa Cruz County Historical Trust landmark. Another unique feature, which is a pro and pretty cool, is the barn. In the 1960s, the barn emerged as a cultural hub hosting concerts by iconic artists such as Janis Joplin and the Grateful Dead. God, I would have loved to go to one of those concerts. This venue became a gathering spot for the merry pranksters and Ken Casey, as detailed in Tom Wolfe's The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. Well, that would have been fun to be a fly on the wall to see. While the original structure no longer stands, its legacy as a center of countercultural activity remains a cherished part of Scotts Valley's history. Another really cool, unique feature about Scotts Valley that's a pro for sure is every year the Scotts Valley High School puts on a phenomenally scary haunted house for Halloween. I've gone a couple of times and I'm not sure I want to admit this, but I'm going to. I got so scared and was laughing so hard that I may or may not have peed in my pants. But it was really scary. So if you have young children, do beware. That haunted house that they put on is really creepy. And the kids who put it on, who get fully dressed in costumes, full makeup, bloody, gory zombies, all that stuff, they don't break character, which makes it even more paralyzing. So just be warned. And finally, the last unique interesting feature with regards to Scotts Valley and its rich history. In 1946, Axel Erlandson transplanted his circus trees from the Central Valley to Scotts Valley Drive. These unique trees, shaped into forms like hearts, water towers, and totem poles, became a local attraction. In 1983, the property was sold and 25 of the trees were relocated to Bonfonte Gardens in Gilroy, preserving their artistic legacy. So if you were not here in the 80s when this existed and you want to check out these preserved circus trees, go to Bonfonte Gardens in Gilroy and go check them out. Okay, I think we covered the pros and cons of living in Scotts Valley. I can now see many more pros than cons actually about living in Scotts Valley, so I can understand why I get so many calls about clients wanting to move into the Scotts Valley neighborhood and the Scotts Valley area. If you have found value in this video, I would love it if you would hit that like and subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, so I would so greatly appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for our next video. I'm Shamika Fox, your Santa Cruz real estate expert, and if you're looking to buy and or sell in the Santa Cruz area and beyond, I would love to be your agent. And if you are looking outside of this general area and county, hit me up. I will connect you with a phenomenal agent that can take care of your home selling and buying needs outside of the area as well. Fill in the form below and I will get back to you. All right, I hope you're well. Make it a wonderful day.